Coming up next, it's the chocolate letter. So fellas, grab yourself a glass of wine. Ladies, let your hair unwind. This is where it all comes out on the TJ Chatman Show. So keep it locked. The best is yet to come.
And my, we have ourselves a good one. Just when you thought it's not going to get better, I just appreciate the listeners giving us the opportunity to give them advice on everyday situations.
From all over the country, man. I'm impressed. You know, we get write-ins from everywhere in the country.
And I think the beauty of having this platform is that you're not just centralized just in Florida. Because I think tonight's letter, if I'm not mistaken, it's I believe it's from in Georgia. Am I right, AD?
Yes, sir. Atlanta, Georgia.
I felt this week, this is a real heartfelt letter here, you know, because we done had some letters, fellas. I'm like, is this real, you know? But the last two letters been like real genuine and sincere, I feel like, you know.
All right, my brothers and sisters, tonight's chocolate letter is written by a 31-year-old male from Atlanta, Georgia. Now, it is pretty lengthy. He writes, I know this may sound stupid to some, but after listening to last week's chocolate letter about how the guy was thinking about divorcing his wife because she was not working, however, my story is a bit different, and you all may agree with me if I should divorce my wife. Now, I have been married for 3 years, but we have been together for 6 years. My wife and I don't have any kids together. However, she does have a 10-year-old daughter from when she was 14 years old. But every time I speak about the biological father, where he is, she always gets defensive or changes the subject. I thought I knew everything that is to my wife and about her, but I feel that she was keeping a secret from me about the biological father. Now, I love her regardless, but things have changed. One day I told her that if she doesn't open up to me and tell me who her biological father is, I was going to leave. So one day my wife came home saying that she needed to talk to me about something she never told me. She was crying about something that she had never told me from the beginning. When she came to me historically crying, she said when she was 14, she was raped by her uncle, and who is her daughter's father. I was confused because I always hung around this guy, which is her uncle, at family functions, and he seemed like a very cool type of guy. We drank beer together, watched games, and even played spades. Not to mention, he's a deacon at the church we attend. My wife said that her family kept this a secret for years. After they found out that she was pregnant by her uncle, they took him to church, cast the demons out of him, all because they said that he was possessed. Now they say since that time, he's been healed and delivered. My wife got used to him being around, and it became a norm. He knows that the baby is his, but my daughter calls him uncle. Here we go. Ever since my wife told me about this, I have gotten angry at her and her family. I feel that my innocent wife was contaminated and tampered with. Being with someone who was raped or molested her is definitely doing some damage type of control. It's hard for me to even touch my wife, let alone look at her. She tried to touch me in bed, but all I could do was be turned off from her. I love her though, but my feeling is gone, I think. I know people would say we need therapy, but I tried all of that. When I went to my friend who is a therapist and talked to him, but nothing changed. I know if I tell my wife how I feel, she will be crushed. But I think she already knows because she has been acting depressed, all because of the fact I know the story about her being raped. I don't want her to try to relive this message again. But I know what I do want to do. I don't want to leave my family, but my family is ruined now the fact that because of a selfish act that her family caused. My family will never be the same again. TJ and the crew, please help me, brother. What should I do?
Your wife needs you. Buddha. Chatman.
Well, it's real simple, bro. You asked for this and you got it. You know what I mean? She was blunt honest with you about a situation. She confided in you.
But that's the thing. It was forced.
However, she still didn't have to tell it.
I don't know the movie, but there's that famous quote from the movie: "You can't handle the truth."
He sure could.
And right about now, I feel like I'm listening to the Kiki song because you're in your feelings right now, brother. And I'm not trying to insult you. I want to encourage you to get out your feelings. All right.
Yeah.
And now you know the truth, so you can deal with it. That's one of the beauties about the truth. Now, we were talking. What was probably last week? We were talking about when you get married, you get a disclaimer.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. For rich or for poor. Till death do you part. Now, brother, your wife ain't did. I understand how you might feel. You might feel like your wife might have did you wrong because she held the secret from you so long. But she ain't cheated on you. It sounds like she don't mistreat you. All right? Your wife
went through a lot.
Your wife went through a lot. She probably was embarrassed to tell you. All right? She probably didn't feel like you could handle it because she can't handle it sometimes. And if you divorce her, you only prove that theory right. All right? So what you need to do, is this is like TJ said, this is a time where, this is a storm. All right? You have to cope this thing. Y'all need to get closer together, because this is a time where as a partner, y'all got to comfort one another. All right? And because your wife don't deserve to be left because of something that happened to her forcefully outside of her control. I feel like, no disrespect, I feel like that'll be the most cowardly thing to do.
Yeah, like, where is your compassion, brother?
You got to be more understanding. This is your wife, brother. Listen, you're going to have to be understanding. Understand it might have been hard to tell somebody something like that. I almost want to cry right here live, and I don't cry for nothing, but that's some hard stuff, you know what I'm saying? Understand that might just have been so tough that she couldn't even tell you, the man she lay up with at night.
Well, yeah, like if you feeling some type of way towards her family, man, then they'll go. I mean, just sit at home and just support your wife from the sidelines if you have to, but why build up this whole rage against her?
Yes. And one thing we forget, the most powerful thing, and this the biggest point I wanted to make tonight in regards to this situation. When you get married, I believe in marriage, but I believe certain things need to occur to maintain a healthy marriage. And one of those things, one of those fundamental blocks I'm about to give you tonight, brother, you really need this, all right? One fundamental block of marriage is forgiveness. You're going to have to forgive her family for your sake and for your marriage's sake. You're going to have to forgive your wife, if you feel some type of way because she held it from you so long, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to forgive her uncle. Because at some point, you're going to have to tell this little girl that your uncle is actually your daddy. This ain't a trick daddy situation where it's uncle stepdaddy. That's her daddy. Some point, y'all going to have that conversation. And before you have it, it's going to take forgiveness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man.
I agree. Go ahead, Buddha.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I had a somewhat similar situation with my sister. All right, my older sister. Not going to put her name out there. And she came to me with it. And I was upset with my uncle. But here's the thing. Y'all, they're still family, man. And you said one thing in the letter. You said that you went to your friend who's a therapist. That was wrong answer. Because they're close to the situation.
Yeah, they got a vested interest. They got a bias already. You got to go to somebody that's unbiased.
Don't know nothing about you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, hey, you need to seek counseling. You need to not only go to counseling, find people who can relate to the situation and help you build your confidence up in your mate.
And you're going to have to forgive.
Forgive.
Because once again, this is your wife that you love.
And she didn't do nothing.
And she didn't ask for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't ask for that. I want to apologize. When I read the letter the first thing came to my mind is I want to apologize that this happened to you and your family. Baby.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm so sorry that this happened. But you know it done happened. All right? So now, you know, one of the best things about the truth is you know what you got to do. You know what you know, so you can move forward.
So
not at all.
So you definitely want to do it. So
and plus, kids these days, man, they can handle a lot, man. They can handle the truth more and better than we think they can. You know, so you got to be honest with all parties involved. Whenever you feel comfortable doing it, but make sure you do it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not comfortable now, I understand, but eventually you need to get it out there. And that's how you get the healing process started. You got to get it out there, talk about it, you know, share each other's feelings, understand each other's feelings, and you know, then that's how y'all can. Once that dialogue starts between you and your wife, then the healing process can start.
And once you forgive, the romance can come back.
Right, and let her know. See, it's hard. There's one thing about relationships. We got to tell each other, our mates, how you feel. If you're upset, this is why I'm upset. Explain it to her so they understand. You know what I'm saying? Communication is it. She finally communicated to you what you needed to hear. Now you need to communicate to her how you really feel about this. You know what I'm saying?
You wanted the advice? We giving you the advice.
Well, sir, I do want to just piggyback off of everything that everyone else here has been saying. Definitely it begins with forgiveness and conversation. And, you know, being a woman, I couldn't imagine what your wife must have felt when she had to tell you. This was obviously something difficult for her, and she was kind of backed in a corner and given an ultimatum, and she told you. So why she's now being penalized for telling you the information that you wanted to know so bad, I don't think that's really fair. Not everyone can handle the truth, myself included. But, you know, with that being said, I would hope that you would be a little bit more empathetic to your wife. It's not something easy to talk about. Look at how it's portrayed even within the media nowadays with something as simple as the whole the Kavanaugh case. That woman came out, and how many people still don't believe her? And I mean, honestly, no one knows the truth except for them two. But that has probably uprooted her whole life. And yet, this man is still a Supreme Court justice. So that's how much we care about sexual assault in this country.
And that's why I say, women, don't give up. Keep talking about it. Regardless of what people gonna say about you, you gotta speak up. Now, if it's true, talk about it. Don't sit up there, because I know a lot of women out there mess it up for a lot of other women that just trying to do it for vengeful purposes and financial gain. Oh, you broke up with me, you took this from me. You know what? I'm gonna mess your life. All I gotta do is say this, and guess what? Sometimes it works until the end, and until they decide to have repercussion and make them accountable. Women are still gonna do it, and you're gonna still have a lot of women that ain't gonna say nothing. Be like, but they ain't gonna believe me anyway.
Exactly.
My brother, you know, truthfully, with this type of information that your lady had, your wife had disclosed to you, though you asked for it, one of the things for me I would really recommend for you to do is kiss this scar. This is a wound that you are not frightened by, but I'm sure the man in you should man up and say, because you wrote your letter twice. I read it twice. You said, I love her. Love is unconditional, man. And if you really love this woman, then and if you really connected, that might be the key thing. If you truly and genuinely are connected with this woman, for her to convey that type of information to you, you should feel some type of pain, almost as if something similar to what she went through, and that should motivate you to want to make you love her even more. That right there, and it's supposed to make you want to think, man, baby, I want to kiss this away. And you also stated at the end of your letter, you said that your family won't be the same. You probably thinking from a negative sense. Well, I'm going to put a positive spin on it. You're right, it won't be the same, because now you're really going to genuinely see your wife as a true diamond in the rough. I'm talking about like a queen of in the apple of your eye for the fact that a wound that took place in the past, a situation of years ago, in her innocent type of stage, was taken from her like that. Man, you should hold your woman up to the highest regard because as a protector, now the fact that she married you and I'm sure that's probably, I hope it is, the deepest wound that she revealed to you, man, and for you to want to act this type of way, what it's going to show is the sensitivity within you, but also, like TJ, I think somebody also said, just a cowardly move, because now she had revealed this dark thing of which is not frightening you. Now, don't get me wrong, you're probably writing from a standpoint of thinking, well, she should have communicated this to me before we jumped the broom, before we said I do. I get you. However, it is what it is, brother. You 3 years in deep, and that's exactly what it is. And the fact that this took place long before you had nothing in a sense to do with you, yes, you might feel the emotional effects from it. But I want you to put yourself in your wife's shoes. Mm-hmm. Literally. And again, and really, to me, what comes to mind was when Virgin Mary got pregnant. And Joseph, her husband, obviously was not the father. And back in that time, if you got pregnant out of wedlock, brother, you got stoned as a woman. That's just the nature of the beast. However, Joseph is what they call a just man. I want you to exactly look it up. All men in the world, you can look up the definition of what a just man is. A just man in itself knows the fact something took place, but because of the covenant he had for his wife, he gonna still love her regardless. And that's what brings me back to my first point. She opened up her womb to you, brother. I need for you to kiss it. I need for you to let her know. That way she know that you still got her, that you want to heal those wounds that's inside her, and that gonna make her feel comfortable to want to come to you about any and everything. And I'm sure this is the lowest of the lowest. And if you run now, I can imagine any other type of thing she might want to convey to you and try to be open with you with, you might be afraid of. So I'm gonna need for you yourself, to realize and accept it is what it is. But from here forward, this is exactly how your family's gonna operate. And there's nothing much you can do about the past. You can look at the uncle crazy or whatever. But I believe right now your wife needs you, the true you, the one she married and knew, that's going to love and protect her at all costs, and even in this emotional type of, statement that she communicated this to you about the daughter, and the daughter needs you too. So I'm saying, so I don't think this is the time for you to pack up your bags and just all of a sudden you want to leave because of the information. I think it's time for you to start stepping up even more to want to now protect, obviously, the daughter and her. That's just the nature of the beast, man. That's all I got for you. Kiss those wounds, and I promise you, once you kiss it, it's going to take your marriage, it's going to elevate it to the next level, and watch the example that you give is just really going to just spill off to the young daughter and what she going to want to marry someone exactly like you, a true just man, not some guy that's just trying to leave because of information.
KJ.
Yes.
What's happening with you?
Not staying busy, that's for sure.
Oh man, so we gonna dive right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so a real estate agent. She's the guru of Orlando. If you got a house, she got you.
Absolutely.
You got a townhouse, she got you.
Even better.
If you want to have your own...
A townhouse, a house, a condo.
A town better than a single family residential 22?
Listen, I done seen some townhouses. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, okay.
But when it comes to value and holding value, you definitely want the residential.
Yeah.
Especially when the markets go down.
Okay, that's why you see me over here, hold on, school.
But again, it's preference as well.
Yeah,
I see people that still purchase a condo and still make it work.
Yeah, in the real estate business, sometimes people tend to shy away from, whether they want to get their real estate license or they want to buy a home or if they want to, buy an apartment. So you've been in this game for how long now?
It's been almost a year.
Wow. And already she's a guru. And what actually got you into wanting to be a real estate agent?
Oh man, actually a few things. One being I've always hung around a lot of investors. So just watching them flip their properties, purchase the property, completely gut the property, and seeing just the full steps of what it takes to go through that entire process. After 3, 4, 5, 6, now you're just like, okay, wait a minute. I now I'm understanding what it is to actually truly own and start to invest. So it started to spark my interest there. And next was, I've always been in sales. So about 10, 15 years straight in sales, and I knew there's going to come a time where I'm going to cap. And I know within real estate, there's no cap. Oh, no. So I wanted to make sure that I set myself up. One, I've already loved the business just because of the people I've started surrounding myself with. And it just made sense. It made sense with the people I was connecting with, the people that I was networking with, and just watching them, build their business off of, owning 5, 10, 12, 15 properties at a time. That's something that I inspired to help others do as well, especially within, our community also.
Okay. So I guess the big question that a lot of people have is, okay, renting versus home owning. What's the difference? And I mean, I already know which way you're gonna go, but from an honest standpoint, what's the true difference between renting and home ownership?
So main point is when you're renting, you're gonna pay more. You're gonna pay more in rent.
You're going to pay somebody else's mortgage
exactly.
and give them a profit every month.
Exactly. And over time, you're not going to actually own equity into that property. So you're going to spend years and years and years paying, which at the end of the year, you're going to pay almost double for that property versus if you were actually to own your own home. And you could actually, put equity into a home. So that way, guess what? If you want to buy another property later, you can actually take that equity out to purchase another home later. So the difference main so is the amount of money that you're going to pay at the end of the year. You could either keep paying and not own and keep dishing out the money where your bank account's going dry, or you could actually invest in something and, maybe not have that dream car that you want, or maybe not be able to hit the clubs as much as you want, but at the same time, you're now investing into something that you physically own that you can build equity in.
And one thing you don't appreciate, one thing you may not realize, as a benefit of home ownership that you'll never get as a renter is homes appreciate in value. Mm-hmm. So you may purchase a house for, let's say, $100,000, but that home might increase in value $20,000. I had a cousin who bought a house down in Riverview outside of Tampa, and within 2 years his house shot up $20,000 more in value. So if he wanted to sell that house, he was going to walk away with $20,000 extra on top of the money he would get back from all the payments he would have, that he's been making. You don't have that flexibility as a renter. And, for many of us, our first come up going to be when you sell a house. But you got to get in one first. I'm really passionate about that.
Absolutely. And then also you have to think about as well, rent's going to keep going up. Once you own that property, you're locked in for 30, what your payments are going to be every single year. Whereas renting, I don't know, you come across some investors I know, it's going up.
A lot of people myself, and I'm sure, some others who probably don't have a home just yet. There's first time home buyers programs out there. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little about that. How is that different from somebody that has bought a home already, they sold it, and now it's like, okay, all right, you know what? I think I'm ready to go ahead and settle down. This is gonna be like my house for till I die type of deal. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between the benefits of being a home owner for the first time versus a homeowner a second time?
Okay, so one, if you're a home buyer, your very first time, there's just different steps that you're going to have to go to. So one, just making sure that you set yourself up with the right lender. I always tell people that. Vet your lenders, make sure you contact your lenders, that way you'll know exactly what you need to put down on a new property when you first start. There's also other programs that are out there as well that will help out with the assistance of, the down payment assistance. Ask those kind of questions. Not everybody's going to want to give you money to put down on a property. It's up to one, your agent, to go to bat with, the seller that's purchasing. I was actually just working with a buyer recently and was able to get her an additional money down for closing, and I had the seller pay for it.
Wow.
So it's all about just having that education and making sure that you guys, one, find a great agent that kind of knows how to negotiate those terms for you, and then also finding the right lender that has different programs that are going on. So there's different programs every year for first-time homebuyers if you qualify.
Now you see why she the guru.
I got a real question. I want to pick your mind about something. You know, I got some family members I've been getting on them because, you know, they've been at a particular location by anywhere from 12 to 15 years. And I did the math for them, and they done paid over $100,000 already.
Okay.
All right. So with these particular family members, one of them has immaculate credit.
Okay.
One of them doesn't have good credit at all, but they both work and have been working for a long time. You know, in a situation like that with a husband and wife where one's got good credit, bad credit, you know, one spouse has got bad credit, one spouse has got good credit, but they both work, they both got income. Are you able to help these people out?
Hold on, why one has bad credit? Wait a minute. A spouse? They supposed to be in this together. Just saying. Anyways.
We're trying to separate them. We're trying to
Well,
separate
no,
them
I mean,
out.
Sometimes you have to
understand what
teach
he's
up.
saying. Sometimes you may get like typically sometimes it's the guy that has. The
Well,
bad-
in this
that
case,
has
it's
the-
not the guy.
Oh, hey,
Okay,
that's
well
Let's
then.
be clear. I'm
Well
not
then.
talking about me because I'm not married.
that's a one off. That's a one off. But typically, you know, it's the woman that got the good credit.
I guess
the
not
guy,
this
the
go
guy
around.
that the guy that's been working for 20 years on the plant still got bad credit, but still, you know, he bringing in the money. Probably have poor management of money, but you know, it's like, you know, hey, we want to finally buy a home. Now, as the guru agent, would you prefer to get the best deal from the lender to be like, hey, listen, don't put he or she on here because that's gonna mess up this here. So if you really want to get this at this price and want the lender to approve y'all, just go ahead and, you know, put it under your name, and you know, y'all can work something out on the back end, like, you know, hey, you still can, you know, slide your name up under there or something, whatever.
Go
So
on the title.
you know, so how do you like talk to the people that have that particular situation?
Well, one, it's all about just education as a whole when it comes to credit and purchasing a home. So first step is, one, I want to make sure that I set you with the right person that can really assist with the credit aspect. And then also depends on your time frame. If you're looking to buy right now, if you have to buy right now because you don't have, you know, any other wiggle room, or if you're looking to buy within the next 3 to 6 months, all that kind of plays a factor in how we will assess the situation. If you need a good solid 6 months, I'm going to set you up with a lender that really's been in the credit business for 20 something years. Why? Because although you have something on your credit, say for instance you go start paying that stuff off, that could actually hurt you in the end. To the point where they might say, you know what, don't pay that off because you're going to bring it to the forefront now, and now they're going to be able to see that. So although it's been on your credit report maybe 3, you know, whatever years, it's little tricks like that that you really need to make sure that you place them in front of the right person that can help. And then me as a realtor, I'm going to make sure I do my due diligence and follow up. Hey, don't forget, we have a 6-month goal. Make sure we're staying intact and doing, you know, everything that lender set you up on to make sure that we get that credit in line. Keep in mind, there's some great lenders out there that could work with low credit scores of 580, 570. Now, you might have to put a little bit more down, but at the same time, there are certain lenders or certain companies that can work with a lower credit score to get you into a home.
And but now, how impactful is a low credit score in a situation where you got husband and wife, and one partner's got a low score, 5 something credit score,
Yeah,
but
we
the
got
other might have like a
720.
720 or something like that? Is that an issue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. The only reason being is it's if you can get that credit score up within time, great. If not, I always say run with, you know, the other person to get the better deal.
Okay.
Because one, you could get financed for more. Because if you have the other person on there,
So it don't got. I'm just kind of we're
Yeah.
on the same subject. It don't have both people don't have to be on it up front or something. They could be. I believe I heard you mention they both can be on the title, but one person will be on the loan basically.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, I
Absolutely.
learned
So
something today right here on the TJ Chatman
Hey,
show.
see, that's why I bring him on the show.
Yeah.
That's why she.
Absolutely.
Now, KJ, we talked off air.
I'm gonna have to
earlier.
get your number. That way my mama and my stepdaddy can
Oh, you
call
put 'em on
you
blast
up.
now.
You know.
And she does service out in Seminole County area. So now.
Because I'm ready for them to stop paying
You
rent.
ready?
Go ahead.
Well, let's get them into a house.
Yeah,
we can definitely make that happen.
Definitely. So what's the better fit for when it comes to buying a house? Do you prefer somebody that wants to go through a lender, or somebody say, hey, here's a bag of money, here.
Well, cash is always better. The deals close quicker. So you can literally get to the close table, you know,
in about 2 days or less sometimes.
Absolutely. So personally, cash, you know, is a lot better. I think that's just in any situation. I think anybody would take a cash deal over a lender deal. But I think at the same time, you still have certain lenders, as long as all your ducks in a row, when dealing with a lender, your absolute number one goal, there's a pre-qualification and then there's a pre-approval. A pre-qualification, they just kind of go high level into your credit and your W-2s and so forth, and they give just kind of like an estimate of what you can be approved for within range. Your pre-approval letter, that's where they're fully digging into everything and trying to uncover as much as possible. My goal with my buyers is to make sure that when we do a pre-approval letter, I want you to step in like a cash buyer because there's multiple offers on the table. So the more I set you up up front, making sure that you get your pre-approved, making sure that they fully underwrite you. That's the difference. You need to be fully underwritten as well to catch those different flaws. So that way when you get to the closing table, you're not hitting that closing table and you're like, oh wait, my deal fell apart. Or oh wait, you know, we're just finding this out now. So my goal with my buyers is to always make sure that they're pre-approved and fully underwritten. So that way when we start putting in offers, I'm sitting at the table as almost like a cash buyer as well.
What's the market like right now when it comes to buying a home?
I will keep it real with you.
So is now a best time to buy a home?
Yes, and the only reason I say that is because interest rates, they're going to start going up. So what you could afford right now, you might not be able to afford come January, February, March. So your best bet is to get in while these interest rates are a tad bit lower. Is it a seller's market? It is a seller's market. Can you still find great deals out there? You absolutely can. So one, it's about making sure that you know the comps within the area because it is a seller's market. So you do have a lot of sellers that are overpricing their home, of course, because they're trying to get as much as they can because of the market. So your best bet is making sure that you get with a really good real estate agent that knows that market, that knows her comps. And when you guys are presenting offers, you're backing it up with the comps within the area. So yes, the market is definitely it's really good, especially in Orlando. It's up 4% as a whole. It's also up 8% for total units sold. Now, when it comes to having actually listings and properties on the market, we are down 6%. That's why we're sitting in the seller's market. We need a lot. There's not enough supply.
Is it better to buy a home that's brand new when you got all these, you know, they decide to cut down the trees and push Bambi and them to the back, and
I get that one a lot.
The brown bears start moving around, and next thing you know,
they're still gonna come greet you now.
They will still pop out.
Next thing you know, they building up all these homes versus
Bears like to welcome you to the neighborhood. Let me tell you, you know.
Versus somebody that's already had a home for 10 years or something. You know, the kids finally moved out, and now they want to move to the countryside to West Virginia or something. And I want to sell this house. So which is a better buy?
Whether you buy, I always say, whether you buy new or old, you're going to have some problems. Okay? And especially if you don't have that inspector going out to making sure during different processes when you're purchasing a new home, that inspector needs to go out just as many times as the code person goes out. Why? They need to make sure still things are up to code and everything's done correctly, because recently I have a friend of mine that purchased new and she has a water leakage. Same exact thing that you can find in a 10-year-old home also. So for me, it's just all about doing your research and, making sure that you guys are out there, making sure that you guys pick the proper inspector. So when you are purchasing brand new, everything comes back on that report. Yes, feel free. You guys can shoot me an email at kjordan@kw.com. And definitely shoot me a message on Instagram and Facebook. Again, Kiasha J. You'll find me on Instagram and Facebook. So
we want to thank our in-studio guest, Kiasha Jordan.
Thank you
our
for
real
having
estate
me.
agent. And hey guys, keep it blessed up, man. And ladies, make sure you continue to self-examine yourself. So keep it locked. The best is yet to come.
You can also follow us on our Facebook and Instagram at The TJ Chatman Show. And remember to keep it locked. The best is yet to come. Let's go.